Well, good day everyone. It has been a long time since we've got Captain Phil and I together. We've been talking about Todd and the Tiger for a long period of time, and finally it has started to come together. Hello, Phil.
Hello, Todd.
Look, we've had weather issues.
Yeah.
We've had the ability for you and I to get together. You're a very, very busy man. Had a few maintenance issues as far as regular upgrades and things like that. So
All sorts of things.
It's been a perfect storm for us getting together to take my next step and Todd and the Tiger. So before we get started, I want to send a cheerio out to the guys from the Raymond Terrace Men's Shed. They made this fantastic Tiger Moth model. And not only is it wonderful, but we're going to give it away to one lucky brekkie at some stage. So to the boys from the Raymond Terrace Men's Shed, thank you very much. From your point of view, how accurate is that? Because this is a handmade model.
It is handmade and it's nice and sturdy, isn't it? Look, it's pretty good. Actually, the fellows from the men's shed rang me up to get some proportions.
Some measurements and details.
They went to a degree of trouble, and you can see the shapes of the tail, the bracing, the undercarriage is really quite good.
And what we might do a little bit later on, we might just have a look at why things are how they are on the Tiger Moth in that situation. All right, let's rewind. We had you in the studio a couple of months ago, and we talked about my Tailwheel endorsement. So I do have my Tailwheel endorsement on the Decathlon.
That's right.
It's a monoplane, it's a closed cockpit aircraft, but it is a tail dragger. When we talk about tail dragger, there's a reason. Basically, they drag their tail.
Yeah, the little wheel is at the back. Yeah, tailwheel undercarriage, otherwise known as conventional undercarriage. Most people would be able to relate to airliners.
Yes.
Airliners have tricycle undercarriage. If you think about that, it has a nose wheel instead of a tail wheel. The tailwheel undercarriage presents the pilot with a whole lot of new challenges. They're more, as you know, as you found out, they're far more demanding to taxi, to take off, and particularly to land.
And that's the first question, because I think if you don't know as a general aviation pilot, people assume if you can fly one aircraft, you can fly virtually every aircraft. But it's not true. There are so many different aircraft, retractable undercarriage, but when it comes from a tricycle undercarriage aircraft to a tailwheel aircraft, it's all bets off really, isn't it?
It's like starting again. Did you find that?
Yeah, it was very frustrating. And we talked about it on the air. I reached a stage where I thought I wasn't going to get it. Remember that time we're sitting there and I'm saying to Phil, just tell me, just tell me.
Am I ever going to be able to do this?
Yeah, and but it eventually did happen. So, all right, first question. Why did we not start with the Tiger Moth Bravo Charlie India?
For a lot of the reasons we just discussed. To streamline your progress. The Decathlon is a more modern monoplane. Got one wing instead of two. That's what monoplane obviously means. It's more comfortable. You're enclosed. We've got far better communication between the two of us. The forward visibility in the Decathlon's a lot better than in the Tiger Moth. Giving you a whole lot. It's more,
it's easing me into it to a certain extent.
Better chance to get the handle on it. Rather than throw you straight in the deep end.
I think one of the benefits with it as well, and we're going to discover, the Tiger Moth doesn't have electric starting. It has to be hand cranked. The prop has to be started, the engine has to be started by someone spinning the propeller.
The old-fashioned way.
Yeah, the old-fashioned way. So one of the benefits with the Decathlon is I can go and fly it solo to get some time in the air. I can, just like a Cessna 172, I don't need someone else to help me.
You don't need a crew.
Start the aircraft. So as you said, the Decathlon closed cockpit, much more comfortable to get started with.
Could I put it this way?
It's
more user-friendly.
Which one do you think is easier to fly? I know that's a very broad question.
Well, the Decathlon.
So, all right, so it's taken a little while and we're moving on to the Tiger Moth. And one of the things that you mentioned, and one of the interesting parts about the Decathlon is obviously the array of the pilot and the co-pilot, or the seating is the same as the Tiger Moth.
It's tandem.
It's tandem as opposed to sitting side by side. In the Decathlon, I learnt and fly from the front seats. In the Tiger Moth, I will learn and fly from the rear seat.
The rear seat.
Why?
Okay. In the Decathlon, the front seat has better visibility.
Yep.
In the Tiger Moth, the rear seat has better visibility. Not necessarily better forward visibility, but because you're not sitting in between the wings, you're behind the wings in the Tiger. Imagine if you were in the front, you'd be between them.
Yes.
Because you're behind the wings, your cone of vision,
Yep.
your peripheries and forward cone of vision is a whole lot better. That's the main reason.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. So one of the things that a lot of people ask me when we're talking about doing the Tiger Moth in that situation is, how do you see where you're going when you're taxiing? Obviously, once you're flying, for example, am I allowed to demonstrate, or would you like to demonstrate? So obviously, once you're flying, you've got forward vision.
That's right, a lower attitude.
Yeah, but when you're on the ground, and this model probably really doesn't do justice to how little visibility you've got, does it?
Yeah, on the ground, absolutely, yeah. You've got all of the front of the airplane in front of you and it's poking up in the air. You can only see out the sides. Okay,
so give a demonstration.
How do we deal with that?
How do we deal with taxiing?
You know what people have said to me? Why don't you get a periscope? That's a good idea. So,
who are these people?
Who are these people? They're lovely people. So what we do to overcome that is taxi. While we're taxiing, we're weaving.
Okay.
So let's say we're moving down towards the other end of the table and I want to check clear ahead. I can't see anything here, so I'm going to weave left, put my head out the right-hand side, and I'm going to do S's, Then I'm going to weave right, head out the left-hand side. You see, now I can see past the nose. So we're constantly weaving. And a lot of pilots who fly modern airplanes look at your taxi and they say, look at that poor fellow over there.
He's drunk.
He's having a terrible time. It's quite normal.
It makes sense. And one of the things also with the Decathlon is, because I'm fairly tall, I'm lucky. In the front seat of the Decathlon, I can actually just sit up a little bit proud.
You don't need to weave.
And you don't need to weave, you can just see. So, okay, so that's going to be interesting. So the things that we've discovered so far, obviously open cockpit, you're exposed to the elements. We do have communication through a headset, but it gets very noisy, doesn't it?
You get a lot of wind noise. It's not, and that leads us on to talk about headsets and clutter. People find they're encumbered. You know, it's all very romantic to put a flying suit on and a scarf, you know, and a helmet like Kingsford Smith and flying goggles and stand there.
Yeah, like you're all that,
But really, when you first get in and put them on, you've got all this clutter all over your head.
Yeah.
And it, it's not so convenient.
No, and you throw into that equation as well the goggles, because I've got my, and we'll have a look at that at a later date, not in today's video, but I've got my flying helmet. It doesn't feel natural. And then you've got the goggles on and they're quite big, and you've got to make sure that they're adjusted
all
right.
That clutter. But without it, you're really in trouble. So they're necessary, but very different.
It's nearly impossible. So, okay, so we know we're going from a closed cockpit to an open cockpit.
Yeah.
And really, they're two aircraft from two different eras, aren't they?
Absolutely. The Tiger Moth, as we were discussing earlier, we've got to understand that this technology is over 100 years old.
Yep.
Yeah? Look, it works fine. It's really good. They're reliable, they're wonderful, but everything's old-fashioned. This is all T-model forward stuff. Yeah.
Well,
you talked about the fact we had to crank the propeller to start it.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
One of the things, the misconceptions is this is not a World War I aircraft, is it?
It's not. No. The Tiger Moth, this actual model was designed first in 1931, or beg your pardon, produced in 1931. Yeah. But it is from de Havilland stock that comes from background World War I. Yeah, so there's still a lot of similarity.
Yeah.
So people can be forgiven, but they were actually used by the British Empire forces in World War II as basic trainers.
So basically, everyone, realistically, within the British Empire that flew fighter planes, bombers, they would have started in the Tiger Moth.
Spitfires started in the Tiger Moth. Yeah, fantastic. So of tremendous historical significance.
Okay, well, speaking of starting, what a lot of people don't realise is generally with aviation, when you try something new, you start in the classroom. We're in the classroom here for Unicomb Aviation. I don't really like being in a classroom. It's not my natural environment.
Not your natural habitat?
No, it's not. And I hope I don't get a report card at the end of it. But this is where we need to start. So. Before we go out and even touch the Tiger Moth, before we go out and get involved, what's involved now? What do we have to go through? What's the
Well,
standard
we've talked
procedure?
about the model. Look at here's a photograph of the actual aeroplane we were flying.
Okay.
And there's the cockpit. And if you have a quick look at the instrument panel, in the old days they called it the instrument board. There you are. Here's a little bit of historical chat.
Yep.
The instruments, not all of those instruments are familiar to you.
Okay.
A couple are. For example, the airspeed indicator is something you're accustomed to looking at. The altimeter, the tacho, and the oil pressure gauge you'll have some familiarity with. But look at these instruments in the middle. This big round one right in front of you is the turn coordinator. Nothing like the turn coordinator in a modern aeroplane.
No, because the turn coordinator, not only in the Decathlon but the Cessnas, basically is a wing. You've got a wing
right.
and a ball.
And that's right, the little balance ball
Yep.
to keep the tail following the nose. Well, we've got a set of needles here to help us. They work in the same sense, but the presentation is completely different. Look at this big thing down here. That is a magnetic compass, and look how ancient that is. That's
so how big that's...
Well, in reality, yes, that's about the size of... and these were used in all of the World War II, I will venture to say all of the British World War II airplanes, even Lancaster bombers had P11 compasses like that.
So much history, isn't there?
Yes, wonderful.
Yeah.
And then there's this fella here, which people look at and say, what is that? And it's a vertical tube with fluid in it and a whole lot of numbers. It's called an inclinometer, and it's a very rudimentary kind of vertical speed indicator. It's there to tell you whether you're more or less flying level, climbing, or descending, and at what rate.
Yeah, let's just stop on that for a minute, because it's always great to learn some new things. People would turn around and say, well, hang on, isn't that what the altimeter does? Okay, because
it'll tell you how high you are.
Yeah. But the vertical speed indicator, that's so that you get a fight, you know whether you're climbing or...
It's giving you a trend.
Yep.
Yeah, it's giving you a perception of your rate of climb or rate of descent. Yeah, whether you're climbing rate's all about time. You might be climbing at 200 feet per minute, or you might be climbing at 500 feet per minute. You need to know.
Yep.
That's what the inclinometer does. Have a look. There's our windscreen. There's a Venturi. Look, how old-fashioned is that? That's providing suction to work, believe it or not, a vacuum-driven gyroscope inside this dear old instrument here.
Wow.
Works fine. Yeah. People look at that and they say, what's that?
It looks like a horn, doesn't it?
It's got a horn there. Yeah, anyway, and all the electrics, like the magneto switches, are outside. You've got to put your hand outside to switch them on and off. So, unlike your modern airplane, which has a key, like a car does.
Yep.
So you see, the more you delve into it, the more vintage feel you get.
Well, and also it depends when you're flying as well. You talk about having the flying helmet on, and it is a little bit claustrophobic, and you've got that down. You've got your headset built into that. You've got a microphone that comes around. But if it's a cold day, not only are you've got your scarf, but you've also got gloves. So. In a closed cockpit aircraft, your hands are unencumbered with gloves, and you've got that dexterity of touch.
You don't have that feel, but also further to that, if it's winter time, you've got all these jackets on, and you know it's a lot harder to move, isn't it? You're more. Oh, I tell you what, don't fly in the rain and stick your head out.
Okay.
Feels like needles.
Yeah. We're painting a fantastic picture for flying an open cockpit aircraft.
There's a tip.
Yeah. Phil's tip for the day, don't fly an open cockpit in the rain.
In other words, Todd, pull your head in.
Yeah, it's not the first time that's been spoken about. Hey, one other thing that's interesting, and you can see it there, and you can see it in the model here, is this is how analog this aircraft is.
That's a great way to put it.
That's the fuel tank.
That is the fuel tank, and there's the
fuel
pipe.
line. Yep.
So that's how we get fuel flow, purely via gravity.
Yep.
Gravity takes our fuel down
and
to
it
our
also
engine.
kind of makes it hard to fill up the aircraft, because you've got to jump on, step up, and then basically kneel here and lift it up. So, but it is well and truly analog. Okay, it's a beautiful aircraft. What do I need to know as far as the briefing we go through before we go and do the first flight? Let's run through that.
Okay, we've got to learn how to a pre-flight inspection of the airframe, but the thing that's a little more involved, we've got to learn how to start the engine.
Okay.
Yeah, you've got to learn how to start it cold, hot and flooded. And that's this will be something I'm hoping you'll find interesting, but really unusual, very foreign.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
The art of propeller swinging.
okay, because it scares the daylights out of me.
So it should.
I'm concerned that it's
Well, that keeps you safe, healthy
Okay,
respect.
okay.
Yeah. But there's a special technique for everything.
Why does it not have an electric start?
Weight.
Okay.
And of course, back in the old days, they wanted to save weight. They did have electric start, obviously, around World War II. But remember how heavy and massive the batteries and starter motors
Gotcha.
were. Not like today's miniatures.
Yeah.
So it's a big weight and storage saving.
Okay, how fast will the Tiger Moth go?
Well, in the old scale, about 100 miles an hour.
Okay.
Yeah, 80 knots.
Yep.
Yeah, so 80 knots is 160 kilometres an hour. 1 knot's about about 2 kilometres an hour. So yes, it's 100 mile an hour. That sounds pretty fast, but by modern terms, it's pretty slow.
Pretty slow. All right, so that's it. So what's the first step?
Let's go and learn how to do a pre-flight inspection.
Yep.
Learn how to start the engine.
So when we start it, there's always someone in the aircraft. Will that be me or will that be you?
Well, we'll take it in turns. We'll also get someone else to sit in the airplane for us because you're going to have to learn various roles. You're going to have to learn the pilot's role. This is all very, very safety oriented. The pilot has his own duties. The starter has his own peculiar and particular duties.
Yep. Because
the starter is dealing with the, let's say, live end of the aeroplane.
The pointy end, the sharp end.
The starter is actually in command, not the pilot, until after the engine's running. Okay. And then the pilot takes the
This is all new
Nothing
ground
like
for
what
me.
you're used to.
Okay, so in closing, on a percentage scale,
yes.
I'm a qualified general aviation
where
pilot.
are we going with this, Todd?
No. What percentage of my flying knowledge,
yes.
ability and skill will I bring to the Tiger Moth?
You will bring 110% of it.
Yep.
We'll build on that.
Gotcha. All right. So the first step is going to be pre-flight, learn how to start it. So we're not even getting into the air first, are we?
No.
Oh.
No.
Okay.
Patience, perseverance, Toddley.
It is a virtue. Thank you, Phil.
My pleasure. We're going to have a lot of fun.
We are going to have a lot of fun.